Hello, everyone. Richard Carlton. Welcome to another awesome day. Today is an interesting day. It's Green Day. Green Day. So we have green. It's not St. Patrick's Day. It's the day that we nationally recognize how much money FileMaker has saved everyone. And so helping us out today is a number of people here. It looks like the bunny is here. And it's an orange bunny at the moment. Should be a green
Yay.
bunny. Bunny's here. So before we get going, so that you're welcome to fmtrain.tv. We're doing awesome FileMaker training. This is Megan. So we hear talk about Megan all the time. Megan is kind of semi-new to the world of FileMaker. And so Megan, we want to encourage people and say welcome. And it's not about a bunch of like old people using FileMaker. There's a bunch of young people using FileMaker. So Megan, tell us about yourself and how long you've been using FileMaker and give us like a thumbnail snapshot of yourself.
Hi, so I was working at Target and it was awful. And I was thinking about different IT jobs because a lot of my friends are in the technology field. So I went on Facebook and reached out to the Facebook world saying, hey, does anybody have any IT jobs that they know that I don't need college for? And Mr. Jake said, I do. And so he was the only person that I reached out to from that. And I did the interview. I started working here. And I started off with learning insurance claims because that's half my job here too. So it's a lot of different hats that I wear. And then I did the RCC live training course, or not live training course, sorry, the training course. And within, the bundle within, I'd say 4 or 5 months, I would say I progressed from not knowing what the heck FileMaker was to questioning, oh, I don't know about, scripting and stuff like that. But then I'm boiling down all of the things that I don't know. And it's so crazy to see that it's not a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad you're here. So frequently you'll hear me. I frequently refer to Megan. I say, Megan, does this make sense? Because there's a lot of advanced FileMaker people around, and the advanced FileMaker people, the Kyles and the Nicks and most of us, there's different levels of progression. And I want to point out a quick graph. I'm going to put a graphic over the top of her real quick. You guys are at the bottom still. And so this is the progression of learning. So today we're doing the wrap up right now of the book. The last chapter it's in. So the PDF will be officially kicked out sometime this weekend. And then it'll go to Amazon for a test print, and then final printing it'll be on demand available. You store it from Amazon. We'll give you the links for that. But this is continues to be our mantra of understanding the beginning developer, which in this case, it's Megan was the green person here. And then she's moving into this section in here and to intermediate and trying to move her that direction is the goal. And understanding where she's at and understanding the necessary skills that she has to do, needs to have, that's what we do here on this live stream. So fmtrain.tv, we got the new shirts, and so it's specifically branding for our training component part of the organization. So we're really glad she's here, and she has really awesome green hair. And so we figure in honor of the brand new beginning people, we were gonna have fun with the green today. And so she is awesome, but the goal is to move you along in the progression with this. And she said a second ago, well, I'm doing insurance claims and this and that, so I have more than one job. And of course, the whole point of that is everyone who does FileMaker in a very serious sort of way frequently will have more than one job, right? FileMaker is an appendage because someone has to make great software and adjust and then tweak it for the company so it does great things for them and saves them time and money. And everyone here knows this. So the goal is, of course, everyone to encourage you that it's not just about being the most amazing Nick Hunter user interface design. I mean, Nick is a weirdo. Nick is like this, like.
So am I.
Yeah, I know, but you are more typically identify as a normal FileMaker person, right? You're coming up. Nick is weird because he has this really high-end understanding of this interface stuff, and that's kind of very artsy, very artistic.
I'll be there someday.
And you could be there someday too. So a little bit about the broadcast, who we are. So I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv. So if you check out our website, if you go to fmtrain.tv, you can come up and see the upcoming broadcast schedule up here. So you go to fmtrain.tv. This is our broadcast schedule for the next 6 days. We are looking at days today with kind of an open Q&A day. And then we've got Nick Hunter coming back next week, and then Christian Olson, who runs basically our coaching program here at RCC and basically a senior engineer. He is we're going to roll out our Wolf Pack. So the Wolf Pack is this package of add-ons that we're kind of throwing in there. It's a totally free thing, and we're giving Christian 3 days for that. Initially, we had 2 days, but we thought that he might need more days because he's got a lot to say and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. And so, yeah, so pretty neat. So Ruben's there. Hey, Wally, welcome as well, Francisco. Yeah, looks like Yoda. My display is misset. So originally I was orange a couple weeks ago, but then because I had to identify myself as a traffic cone, had to do with Claris's criteria now for being a speaker at DevCon. But I was kind of funny. So that day I was identifying myself as an orange traffic safety cone. Today I'm a pile of cash. And so in honor of Megan and all the people out there saving money with FileMaker, that's the plan. So today we have an interesting topic. We have kind of an update. So what I want to do is real briefly, and Megan, along the way, we're going to yell at you and say, hey, Megan, do you have any questions about what's going on? Because today is going to be a hard day for Megan to wrap her head around. It's a little more advanced, but the goal is for us to stop her and ask questions and see how she's following along. And if you're not following something, Megan, it doesn't reflect upon you. It just means that we as trainers have failed you.
Oh my goodness.
I know. There's no pressure on you. It's pressure on, frankly, myself and also on Kyle Williams. And so, hey, Dennis Chow, welcome. Yeah, so we have everyone here. So real quick on an update on that. As a reminder to properly, this is that. I have to use my different voice. This broadcast is brought to you by FMTraining.tv, where you can get the greatest in FileMaker training. So this is live training, but you can get recorded training, which is amazing. Visit fmtrain.tv and press the bundles button and pick the bundle that's best for you. And then that way, it helps put a little money in the piggy bank so we can afford to do these broadcasts. Because these broadcasts, I mean, you might think green spray paint is cheap. If it was all that cheap, I'd be thrilled. But it's frequently, it's pretty expensive to have a dedicated staff that runs this. You may not see it, but there's a bunch of people running around behind the scenes. So real quick update. So if I go over to Discord over here, so Jeremy, we got all sorts of people talking and seeing each other. Do we have the sample file? Did we post the updated sample? Okay, there's the updated latency right here. For those of you who want to see, this is how you test your FileMaker server to make sure that it is that you're getting good network connection between the two. Yes, I know you two are like hiding back there between the screen shares. So the link, it's not. The link is there, so I'm going to copy and cross-paste it to the other locations. So this is an updated version of the file we covered about a week ago, which was last Thursday, not yesterday, but a week ago from yesterday. And the idea is that you can run a command and test the milliseconds. This is an updated version of that file that works better with Windows, apparently. So Leland did a great job with that. He's done a great service, frankly, to the FileMaker community, giving us the ability to test our server. So we spent a lot of time talking about the significance of what the milliseconds are, and low is good, high is bad, but what is low and what's good and what's high. And a big part of it is for you to run the test to see what your FileMaker server under ideal conditions is giving you. And then if you have a day where like, well, FileMaker is really horrible and slow and it sucks and blah, 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 and Claris is horrible people, and you hear these things, right? Or my developer sucks because it's so slow. You run this test, it'll give you real numbers, then you know whether your network is the problem or it's something else, right? It's very important that you have that tool. So,
hey, Richard, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I just wanted to show you my notes real quick. I guess that's not a question, but this is the amount of notes that I took from your training videos. And they're all labeled from which sections that they're in. Yeah, they're extensive. So I just wanted to show you that I paid attention.
Wow. I am really impressed. If people actually watched our training and did that. So our training, when we talk about those bundles, and we spent a moment doing that, I guess I can go back and show this real quick. These bundles we put together, we actually have the training courses in. So these training courses, we used to sell them individually. Now we sell them as a group. These training courses, about 90 hours of training, 90 hours continuously. So if we sat here for like 4 days straight, 24/7 around the clock, and you were able to absorb it and not get up and go to the bathroom or get anything to eat or sleep, then you would be pretty much a senior FileMaker person if you could retain all that information. It takes a while, so Megan did a kick-ass job of taking the notes, which is amazing, and I want to say thank you for that. So that's for those of you wondering what a staff looks like when they're watching the training and learning the training, I always tell people this is sit and write down, take notes. Because one thing about seeing it is one thing, but I went to college and I learned the hard way that if you don't take notes, you don't retain the knowledge. It's like one time Bunny asked a question: how long, if I sit and watch the videos, does it take for me to become a paid developer? And the answer is you can't just watch it or let someone talk to you. That's helpful. It's great, but you need to kind of do it yourself. So making notes is helpful. Building it, taking the notes and then building something with it is also super, super helpful. So Megan, are we good on the latency stuff? Do you understand the latency test and the idea what that's about? Testing between your copy of FileMaker and the server to see the network is healthy? Yes?
Yes.
You get
yes,
you understand
100%.
It. And what is latency? A test question. What is latency?
Latency latency is the time it takes for an action to perform.
Yes, basically, and if you talk to a network person, if you have a packet of knowledge, like little packets of paper, and they fly across the internet, they call it a packet, and this could have 2,000 characters or something on it. How long does it take that packet to go from point A to point B? And so a low number is good. It's basically the latency is the delay, right? So you don't want the delay, you want it to be fast as possible. So she's got that, she's nailed it, very good. If the latency is done, I'm going to change gears. You folks can hang out if you want, but I'm going to switch to Kyle. Kyle, are you there? Kyle, smile. You have to smile. Be happy, Kyle. This is Kyle Williams. Kyle dreams about JSON at night. There's monsters, there's alligators, and there's JSON to carry him away. So Kyle, why don't you show your screen and tell us what we're doing today? And we have posted this sample file so everyone can have it. So what are we doing today?
So today I created a sample file. It's to kind of help with building reports or just gathering information. A lot of times we're building reports, we go to a layout and we get a found set, and then we want to collect data from that found set to present in our report.
All right, so this is the sample file that we have. And so you want to start at the beginning. Pretend that everyone here is Megan, and we're trying to understand. Now remember, JSON is a way of formatting text, like numbers and lists and things like that. It's just a format, a way of organizing it.
So what I have here is I have two fields here. One is for the formula that we're going to produce with these buttons. And then in the right, it's going to show you what's the result of that calculation is. So if I want to, I have 200 in my found set. This is all just pretend data. But if I want to show all the data, and this organizes it by the ID, so you can look any of this information up using the ID for the client.
So back up. So hang on a second. Let me ask questions along here. So you press this button here, you set this field in here, and then you use this value in here as an evaluate command, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's using an evaluate. It's an auto enter calculation.
Yeah.
So it's using this field over on the right as an auto enter calculation that looks at the calculation on the left and displays the result.
Okay, so let me help one more time with this. So he clicks this, it pastes this text in here. We don't have to paste it, he's doing it so we can see it for educational value. Then the computer goes, it evaluates this and processes it up to these 200 records here in the found set, and then the results come out to here. Megan, are you there? This is your big data object if you don't follow this, okay?
I am here and I get it.
Okay, cool. All right, keep going, Kyle.
Awesome. Okay, so I have several different preset buttons here, which all produce different formula. So oftentimes we want to collect data in a different way. Maybe we don't want to see everything by the ID. Maybe we want to show it all by the name. So you can see even with 200 records how fast that was. It's almost instant. So again, this is all sorted. It's got by the first name. It's showing it all the data for everybody's in there. So really handy. And then if I want to just show only the active, so this is all the active clients, and so you can see there's just a ton of records here. And down here near the bottom, there's another group called inactive. So right there's inactive. So everything above this line is all the active clients. Everything below is inactive.
So it ran a sub-summary basically? I missed what you said that. But it ran a sub-summary then? Is that what we did on this?
Yeah, basically it's summarizing everything by whether or not it's active or inactive.
Okay.
So you can see here, the way this works is it uses this get inth record. So it's looking at the entire found set through the inth record. It's using the loop count to determine which record it wants to look at. And then it has the field right here where it determines what the value of that field is for that record. And then it does some extra work here. I have an active count, inactive count. So it actually does total up how many are active or inactive.
I have a question. So to be clear about this, you run this loop once entirely through and it gets you the active. Then you run the loop again a second time. Is that true?
Oh, no. It does it all once.
It does one pass. So I get it. So you're loading. So as you go through the loop, if a record is inactive, it goes into kind of one variable for the moment. Yeah. And then if it's inactive, it goes into another variable. And then at the end, you're combining those two together to create this.
Yeah, this is the wonderful thing about JSON is it'll organize everything for you. So you can see here I have the path. Okay. And all of these elements they all started out with the path. Mm-hmm. So if it's active, our path is active. Otherwise, it's inactive. And then it's collecting the array number.
Really? So you're loading it in the. So you're not building it top to bottom. It's actually inserting as it goes. Is what you're saying?
It's inserting as it goes, and at the end, JSON format elements organizes it all alphabetically. So really, really cool trick. Gets a lot of data really fast, organizes it, presents it in a way that you can see it, you can read it, and then you can extract any of this information from it. So show all by birth year and name. So again, because it's collecting the data as it's looping through, here I have the year they were born and who it is. It's all sorted alphabetically.
Okay, so Megan, so let me run through this real quick. So Megan, so I'm clear on this. This is not something I've ever seen in FileMaker. I guess it makes perfect sense, but I have not seen this. But I don't play with JSON as much as probably I should. So this string over here starts off as being a blank. This over here is blank, and so he loops, and every time he loops, it's determining whether it sticks the block up here or maybe down below somewhere. And so as you loop each iteration, it loops 200 times. It's deciding. It's not just gluing it on the end, because normally with FileMaker you're going to you do a substitution, or you'll just keep gluing text on the end, on the end, on the end, which means I was wondering how he did the sort. Historically, we would actually do a sort command first with a script. Then we would run this, so that way it would already be in order, but he's not doing it that way. It's an interesting way to solve the problem, right? It's it's actually processing the sort on his own kind of in flight. And so how does it know where to stick the correct piece by the year?
Looping, yeah. So it's looping through all the records. It's using this path. It's getting the year of the birth date. So I have the birth date here. It's getting the nth record of the birth date using the loop count, so it knows which record it's looking at. And then I have it parsing out the year. And this is the path of the JSON. So all path objects, or all JSON objects, they have a path. So we're building that path here. And so it's going to start out with year.
So the path is how it sorts it. The path is that unique bit, right? It's the part that tells it. In this case, it's what, the year?
Yeah, so it's starting out with the year, and then we have this little separator, the period, which gives us our next level down. And then we're building the next level with the first name. Okay. So it's getting the nth record, first name, same loop count, and that's where we're getting the name in there. So we're building that path.
But it only builds the year once because it's right there. Then as it finds the next, say like there's this first one here, 1971 Alexander Howard, right? But then say down here it finds other people, but then it finds the next person way down the list is Jerry Morris. It loops and it inserts them into that spot, right? So it knows that because
it to the 1971. So it's looking at the path. So
this is a JSON behavior, right? This is a JSON behavior. Right. I have a question. Is this a behavior that's part of, FileMaker's implementation of JSON, or is this kind of just I guess.
So the JSON functions will do all this for us. So this is really leveraging the power of our JSON functions available in FileMaker.
Okay.
So that's really cool trick is this JSON format elements, that's what does all the sorting for us. So what we're doing all through here, all of this is building our JSON. This is not sorted or organized really. It's just building all the JSON.
Can you show that? Can you show that without that? Just show it in a raw form.
So
no pressure.
Just get rid of that. There's our raw JSON. So it's not very easy to read. So that's why we format it.
But the 1971s in this case are still spread all over, is what you're saying. So
so the path starts at 1971, then it adds the name.
Right, I know, but so you have a 71 here, you have a 71 there, you have 71 there, then you have a 70. No, they're still sorted. They're organized by order here, right? See, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's an apparent sort order in here. I'm trying to figure out where that sort order is being injected. Does that make sense?
It's doing is, so it's the path. It's this path right here is telling it how to build it. So it's saying add it to the 71.
Right.
So I think just the JSON set elements is also doing some of the organizing for us.
Can you see the raw data? Look at the raw data. I mean, the actual 200 records. Do you have a list view for that in here?
I do.
Okay.
So I added that right here.
So do we have?
So this is all the raw data.
Okay, well, yeah, because the first go back to the first record. The first record is 77, then 95, and then 74 and 97.
Right.
So okay, so go back to the other screen. So I'm trying to figure out where the sort is kind of being enforced at, right? And it seems like the command that we had before down here was making it pretty, but the sorting is actually being enforced in this section right there, right? That JSON set element.
The JSON set element also helps sort it.
That's interesting.
So it's sorting it as it builds it. Looks like.
Okay, yeah, because that's an interesting question about where that's being injected at. So JSON settlement.
Yeah, it looks like it is sorting it as it's building it, and then we format it with the JSON function.
Yep. All right. So Megan, you following this? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm thankful I do have Jake on this side explaining it to me as we go as well.
Okay, so I have a question. Then what do we do? I mean, I guess would be Megan's next question. I mean, this is semi-pretty, but I wouldn't want to give my boss's boss this. This is still kind of ugly. So what do we do with this then?
So in my previous demonstration, I was showing off virtual value lists, which is all populated by JSON, which allows you to select an item from the list and it creates the UI for the users to be able to interact with this. And also you can use virtual lists in a report. So the report shows it all in a very easy.
Do you have that sample file laying around somewhere?
Of the other file?
Well, I'm trying to show the relevance of this besides just waving your hand and flipping our lips. Right. I like to show the practical execution of why we would do that.
Yeah, virtual value list. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so this you probably remember from several weeks ago.
Well, some people weren't here for this, right? So this will be new for some people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, let me go over here. So here I have JSON with an ID and a value.
Yeah.
So we're building the JSON object.
Yep.
And again, I also use this here to build JSON. So obviously this isn't very pretty. We don't want to see that for the UI. That's all on the back end. So what this allows us to do is we load all this JSON into this portal. This is a virtual list portal. So this isn't, it's not creating these records as you open this up. It's all stored in a global field. So the global field is populated with the JSON, and this portal is just a table that has records that it's unstored calculations. It parses it all out. It's all parsed out on the client's end. And this allows people to search if they want to, and it highlights what they searched and where to find it. And then it returns the result. So yeah, you can check out the other video on this because
I'm trying to find the sample file. There's a sample file from 1:15:21. I'm trying to see if that's the file I'm looking for.
So this was another cool feature that I demonstrated.
Yep, that is it right here. Okay, I found the sample right here. So it's not superly well edited. Kyle or TK, if you go back to the sample files from January 15th, we probably had to label it a little better. I'm going to post it. But this is the what are we calling this file again? It's the what file? The Kyle's virtual list file. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, value lists and virtual lists. So it demonstrates.
All right. Got it. All right? So I post that there, post it there. So people want this third file, then that's the third file from today. So that way you can see, because he's using one demo to build on another demo, and I hate an incomplete conversation. I like the people to see the complete picture. So the idea is that, I mean, the trick with this, Megan, and for all the bunnies out there, is that you have a toolbox, right? And as you become more and more experienced, you're going to have more tools in your toolbox to pick the best tool to solve the problem. This is just a tool in the toolbox, right? Like SQL or anything else, right? It's just a tool. It may not be the best tool, but the more tools the whole point is the more tools that you know about, then the more opportunities you have to apply the best tool, right? If all you have is a hammer in your toolbox, then everything looks like a nail. That's that old phrase, right? So
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
So basically, this helps you take your found set and convert it into JSON?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure that I have that whole thing down to make. Yeah.
That's what this one does, and then the other file he has makes use of that JSON. Is the point, right?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Because see, this by itself is kind of like stupid, right? So the problem is
we're showing the back end, and then what you can do with it is really
So then when you get to this file, this is the cool stuff you can do with it, right? Does that make sense, Megan? So
yes,
he built this one file, then he went back to try to show how he would create some of it, but unless you were there on January 15th, you wouldn't understand the conversation. It's out of context, right? And so he was like, okay, I got this block here on the right, but why do I give a shit? Kyle, why do I care? Why, Kyle, why? Right? Right? And I'm not being mean to Kyle. That's
a lot of my reports. It works really well. It's really fast. I love this technique, so I wanted to just build something real quick to show it off. Figured a lot of people could get a lot of use out of this.
Yep. No, it definitely. But keep in mind, we're talking to your advanced developers here. I don't think you're going to have too many intermediate developers that are going to. I mean, Megan could do this, but she might be better spent doing it a different way. It just depends what other tools she has in her tool house, right? But this is JSON is it's kind of a standard formatting thing. The functions are great in the FileMaker platform, but there's definitely, if you're playing with JSON like this, you're definitely on the senior side of the equation, right? So,
I just have a few quick ones here that adjust the found set. So this one's looking for male clients and then female clients, 91, active clients, 153. So let's kind of go through those real quick. So you can script it to find the found set, and you can see how fast that brings up your result. These last couple are kind of fun. So this one is a number of visits by age. So this is where you get into graphs, which is kind of yesterday's graphs and charting. So you can leverage these last couple calculations for building graphs and charts. So this tracks the number of visits for a client over time. So it's looking at, I organize this by the age. So you can see it found 153 active, age 20. There's people who are 20 years old, they come in 85 times. So this just for kind of demographics, I guess, for reporting demographics by age and how many people come in by their age group. And then I also have it dividing up by gender. So again, you can see it works really, really fast. And I think this works really well for generating reports when you want to try to figure out, do the female customers come in more than the male customers, at what age? That can be represented really well in a graph or a chart. So, and see the formulas right here. So it's, you can play around with this in your own time and kind of figure out how it all works.
Okay.
You can see I always have the path, which helps organize everything as it's building it all.
All right, let me ask the question. Do people have questions on this specific topic right here? So JSON related question, because I know I had a question from Ruben on kind of an SQL question, and since you're kind of more SQL-ish kind of guy here, I'm going to ask this question to you, Kyle, because I'm not an SQL guy, so I don't know the answer to this question. So people have questions, definitely type in the questions, let us know. First question that we have is from Ruben. I kind of cross-posted it, but Ruben's talking kind of like a different topic, but kind of vaguely similar. He goes, where to go? The question for today about execute SQL. It's pretty easy to write an SQL statement. Okay, that's for Ruben. So Ruben says something like that. Hey, Megan, is it easy for you to write SQL?
I haven't written it yet, so I couldn't say.
So the answer would be no. That's like asking if you're
no.
if you're qualified to fly the space shuttle right now. The answer is no. Okay, so understand that when people ask questions, it might be obvious to them, but it's not necessarily obvious because it's a very diverse group that we have here. So, and I'm not picking on Ruben. I'm just saying understand. So he says he writes a SQL statement. It's easy for him to do that. But you can't change the name of fields without changing the execute SQL too. And so is there a way to change the names when using that? I think he wants to change field definitions but not break the SQL statements that were made previously wired.
So that requires a custom function. I don't know if you can still see my screen here.
Yeah, we do.
So I have here an example of an execute SQL formula. And in here, I never reference a field directly. I always indirectly reference it with a custom function. So my custom function is SQLT for getting the table out of it, and SQLF for getting the field out of it. So this is an indirect relation. So if you change the name of the table or the field, it's going to automatically update right here for you because it's not static within that formula. So it's always important to indirectly reference those.
But you're referencing, maybe I'm not understanding, but is he talking about changing the ID? Oh, I see. So if you, okay. Yeah, then FileMaker would change that because that's a field reference. It would change that reference automatically, right. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah. FileMaker's engine, it's looking at this as a table in a field and not just static text.
Yeah.
So you never want to have static text in your formula.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. Scott, there's a couple questions here from Agent Chevy. Kyle, do you have a demo that explains the basics of JSON, like what does JSON format elements do? You might want to check for some other samples on it. Kyle kind of comes into this a little bit more advanced.
That's a big topic. That's a whole nother video, I think. So we can get into that another time.
Yeah, it's. I think we have done that. I would do a search. I'm pretty sure that we've done basic JSON before. I would recommend do a search on our training on that, our live stream training, and see what we come back with. Problem is we do training every day since middle of March of last year, so we're coming up on a year. That's like 300 whatever episodes, so I'm starting to lose track of that. In fact, we just crossed over 300 episodes of this live stream, so I would have to do a search for that. That was Agent Chevy. Scott, this seems like a very good answer for building a pivot table, maybe Kyle's main file for today.
The pivot table is a great. That would be another great video to demonstrate.
Well, we've done pivot tables, right? So we've done those, right? So Scott Kane, I don't know if Scott's watched our other pivot tables videos that we've taught. We've had pivot table. I know we've covered that in the live stream, so that's not a new topic. So anytime that you're manipulating, I got my cord wrapped around me. Anytime that you're manipulating data to the degree that you are in this case, that's the kind of stuff you're doing with pivot tables. You're moving it. We have a pivot table sample file. We also have a pivot table video. We've already covered that. It's not that we can't cover it again, but I'm trying to give you an answer today and not duck the answer. So it's in our paid training. It's also in our live stream. So it's in both places.
Hey, Richard.
Yes.
I have to get off the live stream early today because Jake and I are taking Amy to the airport. So I just wanted to say thank you for having Green Day. And I am so thankful for all of you guys here helping me and taking me into the community. I appreciate it a lot.
Very cool. I'm glad you're here. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay,
so appreciate it. Megan's great. I love using her as a benchmark. Because that's kind of what I make sure those people are not lost and confused, right, Kyle? That's the trick. So let me see. So Scott's Kate. Go ahead.
I had one more thing I wanted to show off right here.
Okay.
So when I was first developing the while function, this technique, I had JSON equals empty, and the problem with JSON equals empty is this right here. You end up with a value of 11.11. Because here I'm trying to parse out an empty JSON and trying to get a value from it. So down here in my formula, there's JSON get element. So visit count equals visit count plus JSON get element. This JSON, if that's empty, it's going to equal 11.11. So just kind of a side note, a little caveat here.
I don't understand the 11.11 reference, right? Why would that? Where would that come from?
So where that's coming from. So if I take this back to here, and then I say evaluate, what's happening is it's pulling the 1.
Oh,
and the 1.
It's taking the data out of this. It's taking the data out of this error message right here. Oh my god!
Right. And here's the other 1 and the 1. So that's where it's just kind of it has number. So yeah, this bugged me. I was like, what the heck? Why are my numbers off? And then I figured this out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So this is where I kind of stress the importance of putting the curly brackets. So that way when it evaluates it, it doesn't get that number, which throws all your recording off.
Huh.
So you'll see right here, it says JSON equals and double curly brackets there. So that way it's not an empty JSON. It's not an empty value. It does have a valid JSON object to parse, which avoids that error.
Okay.
So just a little side note.
Okay.
I learned the hard way.
Okay, so basic JSON functions were covered of June 10th of last year. Agent TK found that, so I'm going to point that out. If you go to our live stream, which is free, it's public, it's posted. So in probably a couple different places. I'm just simply going to make a note that if you're looking for basic JSON functions, we covered those last year, so that is good. So I guess we're kind of wrapping up today. It's Friday. It's a little bit early of a day to kind of a kick, but we've kind of covered the topic pretty well. So cool. So Kyle, so if you have questions about the sample file, you have questions for Kyle, feel free to reach out. How do people find you, Kyle, if they want to talk to you?
Oh, let's go back to the share screen here. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so at the very bottom, I added my email address.
Okay.
So you can hover it over. It says send email to Kyle. And I also did a link to my YouTube channel.
Sweet.
So if you need to get a hold of me, you can select this button and it'll bring up your email. And it'll put the email right there. And then you can put in your subject.
Hi, Kyle. That's a really good photo right there. That is awesome. So, yeah, that is it. So that's the Green Broadcast. And she's a brand new person. Then, of course, we also have TK55678 with his green screen on. That's pretty awesome as well. So, yeah. So there's a lot of neat things going on with Green. He's one of our moderators. And to be honest, I want to say special thanks to TK, Larry, and Mark. Doing a great job helping keep everything going. So if folks have questions you want to try to insert into our topic schedule, let us know. Once again, we are booking time slots about a month out right now. We have about the next 30 days that are kind of more or less locked in. If you have questions about the broadcast, you want to ask a question off topic or have us add a topic for you, send an email to support@RC Consulting. support@rcconsulting.com, and make sure you just put the word live stream or something on it, or ask your question, and it may just come to me direct, because I answer a lot of those questions myself. So I really appreciate everyone. Mohammed, if you have a question, feel free to shoot an email to support@RC Consulting. We'll be back on Monday with Nick Hunter and more awesome topics. That's it for today, everyone. Thank you.
Guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap, stands in, throws it left for Amendola, reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10, rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.